Good evening, folks. Been a hot minute, but we are back. Um, I'm enjoying the World Cup immensely. Got to see Netherlands, Japan. Highly recommend. Let's see. And lots of partying and special events. But we might be able to settle into a summer schedule starting pretty soon here. I think we've mostly gotten to regularity in the calendar. So greetings if you're here. And let's see. Last time I think we left off. Um, we've rebuilt Gas City. We're still trying to get to the end of a run in our branch, and then once we've done that, we can probably switch over to the branch. Some wall clock time has passed. Let's get an update. All right, while we're waiting, did we have a puzzle going? Oh yeah, let's try and remember what was going on here. Um, okay. Right, if you recall, this is a puzzle where we have islands and water. X's are water, dots are islands. Every island needs a number, and that number is how many cells the island has in it. All the X's, if they touch another set of X's diagonally, then they need to have a different number. And so, for instance, this single X is touching two X's, two X's, and two X's. It's fine that they're all the same, but they're not touching each other. So we've got a couple places here where we have sort of open-ended ones where we don't know how long this is, but it has to be a 1 by x rectangle. Same for this one. It can shoot out this way if we want, but it also can't shoot out exactly 2 cells and stop. It has to go either stay at 1 or go to 3, and so on. And similarly for this one, it also can't be exactly 2. We've got a few different islands, and as last I remember, we were trying different hypotheses that would allow us to figure out, you could say, where the island might not be. This seems like an awful wide area to infer things about where islands have to go or where water has to go. So we'll be trying to figure out some things around that. But I think the key other thing about this is that if we start making some water, then we can't sort of bend it into weird shapes. It has to be like a straight finger, essentially. All right. Okay. I'm not sure what it's up to yet or why this would have happened. As far as I know, our system has been running a lot healthier since we were regularly compacting Dolt and that kind of thing. One thing that we can use to our advantage is that um, if we discover the limits of an island, say like this, then we also put water around it because it certainly can't be, um, you know, there can't be any more island to make it grow beyond this size. And then, whenever we're about to make waters meet, like so, then we would have to start putting island. An interesting thing about this one, for instance, is that um, the island has to go to the side of the water because we can't have any of the waters be more than one cell in width. And in this particular case, we have to get out to a number. So you can see how we're running into real trouble here because uh, this is already 6 cells. If we placed another cell here, then we would have 8 cells in this 6 island, which is too many. And then we have to keep kind of running out. This is already 10 cells, which is bigger than any of the numbers in the puzzle. So, I mean, we can know for sure that making these 3 dots to finish off the 7 island isn't going to work. But there's lots of things that we could do instead. And so it's hard to sort of put your finger on exactly what we know and don't know. I think we did go fairly far with the hypothesis. Maybe I'll redo that hypothesis that if we put an X right here, and this is sort of like the start of our hypothesis, we could mark that specially somehow so we know what we're sort of basing all this off of. Um, so we can't have it stop at 2, it has to go to at least 3. And then all of this has to be island on the side of it. Um, there's various weird stuff that we could know from here about this area, but we'll maybe just leave it at this for now. Well, no, I guess we should know. So like it would probably be impossible for us to put a dot here because that would imply this is a region of 6 now. Neither of these could be water. And then you can kind of see how we have 2 areas of water that are exactly 1 cell long and they're touching diagonally. And so that's illegal. So we'd have to go, well, this can't be water. This has to get out to be part of this 6 island. And it's possible that there's more island over here. But then we sort of need to start making other sort of weird assumptions. If we continue sort of with this hypothesis up here, then we might need to, so let me show you what 2 to the side looks like again. This doesn't work because we have to do this to the island. And then where these 2 waters are meeting, we have to put an island that has no number. So it definitely can't be like that. But one of these has to be picked. So if we pick this one, maybe we can't pick this one. But then we've got this island chain starting. And this really doesn't work. It makes the island way too big. And then we'd have to do this and this. Where these would meet, that has to be some island. And we need to sort of place one more cell in the island. If we make it this one, then we can continue up all of our water areas, like so maybe. I'm not doing this in a super precise way. I'm just trying to, so we couldn't, if we linked this up, then we'd have certain issues with like, I mean, we might be able to do like this. This would make 9. But then we'd have to cross out a bunch of stuff over here. This would have to be accepted. We definitely have to make this. And see, it does, we're sort of blowing it, right? Like, we can't, we made these islands like run into each other. If we didn't do this though, then we have much like worse problems. This is all legal so far, but we have to start going like this, this. I mean, I guess this is sort of working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the only way to get to 9 now would be right here. But then we'd have to do something like this. And this is illegal. So I think that we've shown that actually all three cases um, of extending 7 from this position don't work. That's interesting. Does that suggest, I mean, can we use that as the inference that there's no way to maybe so. I mean, that's odd, and I'm really tempted to sort of start like a new color here, but let's make this like our real going forward color, because I think that we just showed that if you make an X here, you'll have to make another one here, and then there's no way to finish off the 7 island. Okay. Uh, the Dolt SQL server has failed. It's just been running here. Um, okay. Hmm. Sure, we could do the whole thing. Sure, let's swap in the binary. I consider that low risk, perhaps. Now the other weird thing here is that I might need to actually copy this text um, in case I need to do some of these steps by hand. Okay. Other one. Okay. All right. Now we've got everything, I think. Okay. It's gotten a lot of warmer in the area. It's gonna start seeing some sweat, I think. The summer sweat. The supervisor is bringing back the. It's one way to do it, I guess. I think we're still on 4.7. We heard that Fable was pulled out of production too, due to like an export control that was done in the United States to keep it from heading to foreign nationals or something like that. Um, I don't have a strong opinion about, the legality of it. It seems a little odd to me, or it seems sort of like a desperate rearguard action, right? Like, I think that the recipe for making these things is known, and they are helping make themselves a bit in the sort of like um not in the sense that they're like pulling all of the strings, but starting to give advice to the process and helping the people that are making them. So in my view, like the cat's out of the bag. That doesn't necessarily mean that the AI is out of the box, but cool. This is what I was thinking about. The Dolt upgrade is the one. I think that we went and looked at the release notes for Dolt, and we were trying to decide. I'm seeing my solution. I didn't look hard at it, but you know, that's weird. The newest version is 2.1.5. Is this cached? Oh, I guess we're sort of looking for anything interesting that might have anything to do with some of the weird stuff we've been seeing. Again, it's sort of to the side of what I'm interested in. I'm not seeing a whole ton in there for us that feels critical. Interesting. So there's a core pack and there's a BD pack now for beads. Um, it's kind of new to me. Really interesting. I'm sort of surprised that it doesn't think that I have this file open. Hmm. I don't think that we have seen this before. Let's take a look while we're waiting. Start here. Gas City core behaviors. GC stuff, prompts, formulas, orders, and provider hook overlays. Inspect this directory after gcinit or gcstart to see what you got from this core pack, which is versioned and has a certain schema. We got some graph workers, and we got some pool workers. Here's the universal propulsion principle, the startup protocol, formulas, molecules, how to work. Okay. So these are sort of the prompt versions of like how you get something to just go do its thing. We've got all kinds of skills here related to the city, the mail. This is good stuff for us, honestly. It seems like if we wanted to run a city by hand, then we would use all the information in these skills. We've got mail to talk to each other. We've got rigs that are project directories registered with the city, places that we can go work. They're kind of almost like offices in a way. What do we have here? Beads, rig scope beads, creating, finding, and closing work. Let's see, we haven't done agents, dispatch, and dashboard. Now, we got kind of curious about the dashboard as well, because when we started running GC dashboard, it wasn't super like hot or interesting. Routing with slings and formulas. Direct dispatch to a formula on an agent. Molecule and root beads. These require the Gastown pack, which we have not opened up yet. We haven't opened that sort of Pandora's box into our city. This is wrong, GC city restart. Excuse me. Now I'm thinking that like this might crap out the mayor session. Think about doing a handoff as well if we need to swap in a new mayor or provide context after the restart. If we're sawing off the branch that we're sitting on, obviously we've got to do the handoff. Oops. We haven't seen dashboard yet or agents. Oops. got the supervisor API. It shows convoys, crew, polecats, mail, the merge queue, and so on. That's interesting. I don't think that anything's going on right now. We've got to be in our city. We've got too many tabs. This is like the bane of my existence, but I think that we got confused about this last time. Like, why haven't we had a registered city? Because it seems like I think that we did that last time. Last time we restarted, that was an issue. Okay, let's see. What do we got? The store size reclaimed a lot. The supervisor is up. Oh, interesting. Requires Dolt 210. All right, fair. Now, this is interesting because Homebrew has us at 214. This has us at 207. Um, I'll ask a question about this brew upgrade that we're seeing. When I looked in Homebrew, we had Dolt at 1.4. I've upgraded to 2.1.7. But I think both of those are ahead of the requirement you listed. Is it possible they aren't wired in? Visible to the GC command you tried to run. I do think that we're going to do this handoff, but I'd like to be able to tell the next mayor what we're going to do, or where we're coming from. Okay, while it's thinking, I guess we're thinking. We can play kind of the same game that we did over here, trying to convince ourselves what we'd have to do to send an X up here. We could try this way. Note that we can't have two X's diagonal of two X's, so we'd have to keep going over to here. And that would necessitate putting island here, 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 and here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would take us to needing to close in this island completely. And that in turn would take us to here, here, here. This is 8 already. Yeah, so that actually doesn't work. Yep, so we're really forced to lock in that this is not the island. Um, we can consider for a second. Let's consider the world where, here, I'll use our hypothesis color once again. There is no more island for 7 up here. We have to put island through here because the island has to reach a number. Already it's kind of looking impossible to get to any of our other islands with the right number of island dots. We'd have to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 6 we can't reach. 5, 6 makes this 7 too big. So in this world, we'd conclude that this has to be a dot and this x extends. And then we'd be forced to stick another x right here because joining these two islands would cause issues. And we also know that we need to have another x. We're not sure exactly which way it goes, but it could be this way or this way. But we definitely can't have a 1 diagonal from a 1. Well, we could try the world where we do go up this way. That necessitates us putting the 7th dot in this island, which means that we have to go like so. Yep, it doesn't work. So I think that we're forced to conclude that we have to go this way. The 7 clearly can't join here. And it has 6 dots in it. We definitely can't make an X here because we'd have to put a dot here and it would be a numberless island. So this would be the 7th. And I don't think this is logical either. Because now we've had to bend this island around. I don't know. I feel like we eliminated all of our hypotheses. Like, this is wrong. uh, yeah, it's making me feel like we're creating regions of low confidence for all the stuff that we're doing. Uh, it's very tempting in this kind of puzzle to just sort of try a guess and see if it looks right. Stick with me for a second. If this is truly it for 7, then it has to look like so. And we can't have bendy. Right. I think that we concluded on the basis of this that we would be forced to have diagonal x's next to each other. So we just have to put this here. I can't remember from last night everything that we did and talked about, but I mean, I think I feel pretty good about a lot of these inferences. Hmm. Like if we went all the way back to the beginning, I'm pretty sure we would end up here. Maybe let's try that, just to try it. All this is forced around the ones. See how lost our mayor is. Oh, right. We had this weird thing about the BD migration incident. We should try to see if they've got a new release of beads for us. I don't. We would have seen it in homebrew, but I don't know why this particular one is taking so long either. I'm not seeing like a 1.0.6 release candidate tag or anything either. Okay, so if we have to stay on the GC binary anyway, uh, I'm a little confused about about the version dependencies among these three. I'm a little confused about but I don't think moving to a newer version is a good idea yet. There is still no version after 1.0.4 that is released. Hopefully it'll tell me that, all of this is fine. That I don't need to build beads from source or anything like that. So we can't make the non-rectangular water. Isn't it all the same? Can't make the non-rectangular water. Have to make this go like so that it's not diagonally touching one of a different length. And we're back. Then we concluded that we just did this one, that you can't put a dot here because that forces the 7 island to be completed in a way that causes the water to be wrong. All right, and then we felt like we tried every single case that you could possibly do with this. Now, I think it's possible that we might have messed something up when we were working on the cases for 5 dots in the 7 island. But yeah, I'm not really sure. Okay, no other things to do right now. I mean, let's see. Maybe we should do this more sort of had a style of doing hypotheses when playing 14 Minesweeper variants that has to do with putting the hypothesis in the corner. Then trying to draw out its impacts in the corner as well. And then take it from there. So if we have an X here, we have to keep going up this way and this way. I guess there's a world I don't know if we totally explored where there's a dot here and a dot here. I feel like we did that one though. It's a main branch build at commit this. Let's see where they're at right now. Let's see if I can find. Oops. Hopefully, I will do the short version. Two weeks ago. I mean, there's a lot of code been under since then. Under the bridge. Yeah, this seems fine. Let it back up. Try with the new version. Sure. Let's try your plan. I understand how we could roll back. Okay. If, on the other hand, this is an island, a piece of island, and that takes us in a sort of different direction. And in this world, we could either have an X here, and I'm using a nomenclature of X versus slash to denote that this is sort of like the initial conditions of the variant that we're doing. It would also cause an X to be here. And the goal of what we're doing right now is to try to find worlds where all three, because we do need a third hypothesis, all three of these colors line up. Here's hypothesis 3, where this is a dot and this is also a dot, which you can see is definitely possible, right? But I think I could convince you that our choices are binary, right? We're either going to have water or island, and that these three colors actually cover all of the different possibilities completely. So, for instance, that either we have water here, or we have island here, and we have water here, or island here and island here. There are no other possibilities. Okay. So, in the world that we've constructed, where in the yellow world, we've got 5 pieces of our island, and we've got this other one hanging out over here. In the blue world, here, there's actually a lot more to mark because we've got this and this, as well as this and this. So you can kind of see that we've got, in blue world, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces to our 7 island. So it's done. And all of this has to be X'd out. And here, where different X's would meet, we need to have island. And here, along this, the border of this water, we'd have more island. There's various things, and then up here, of course, as well. This would get cut off, and we would have another, still more island. And the problem here has become that 2 X's are meeting each other. We had to fill this in to cut off the last piece of the 7 island in blue, right? So in blue world, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and if we had a dot here, then we would grow it to size 8. The problem with this is that this is an unnumbered island. And we're just growing it out as far as we can to try and reach some number. And now this chunk is 8 long, and there's no way for it to get to any number. So I think we could conclude that this blue world doesn't work. And we are left with erasing. It would be nice to not have to erase all this. Let's see how much we can undo before we start losing something that's another color. Oops. Ah. I'm hitting redo, but yeah. It is being slow. I guess the whole thing's being a little slow. How's our performance doing? We are getting a lot of writes on the virtual machine. Yeah, 1200 megabytes per second type writes. Okay. We're getting like, yeah, 1600 megabytes per second writes. I mean, the VM's going to be unresponsive at this rate. That said, if we power down and power on, we might still have this mayor session. Which is weird because we Dolt GC'd already. It's weird to me too that other people aren't having these same issues that we're noting. It makes me feel like we're doing something weird. I didn't think so. Can be frustrating, you know. We haven't done a lick of puzzles tonight. We've all just been doing this weird stuff. Let's power down the VM. Let's see. Hard reboot should be fine. Start getting a right storm and I had to hard reboot the VM. Should we roll back to previous Dolt? Go ahead and investigate. We'll have to see how much state Krita left for us. But I think that we can pretty much remember where we were. Oh, open the autosave. Thank you. All right, great. And we were also. How big is my pen right now? Okay, that seems about right. That doesn't remember any of our colors though. Then if I go back to brush, cool. Maybe it was a little big, a little small. Okay, that's pretty close. It was probably more like 3, but whatever. Okay, and then here's our next color. And our next color. Okay. And yeah, we have to pick up yellow too, because we're actually not in blue world. We're in red, green, and yellow world. Yeah, so I think that we just figured out that we're not in blue world anymore. It probably doesn't have undo information now. This can be annoying. I'd like a way to erase marks instead of turn the whole picture transparent. Right? But, good enough. Okay, so we convinced ourselves that blue wasn't correct hypothesis, and then look what happened in this square. We only have two hypotheses left, and both of them think this is an island. So it is. That's interesting because we've got our green going up this way. And as we mentioned, we tried to do kind of the same sort of trick up here. 3 more hypotheses in Greenland about both of these being island or one or the other being island. And none of those seem to work out very well. I don't think we explored Yellow World very much. Cascade Nudge. I think we should, let's try and roll forward. Let's try and roll forward with the idea that maybe a new GC Dolt will fix some of our issues. If that doesn't work, we can dial it back again. The fact that we're not getting problems after we rebooted sort of suggests that the problems aren't coming from the systems that we have working together. It's something else about the behavior that maybe has gotten fixed in the intervening time. And we rebuilt the GC binary. We're probably missing like a few days of changes, but it's probably a little better. Okay. You're the boss, is what I expected to say. Okay. Let's do a new blue hypothesis. This is related to yellow right now. So we're going to assume that we join together these yellow worlds. And we've got all 7 bits of the island. That would imply this. All right, which would imply this and this. I do think this is not going to work just because of this blue numberless island out here. There's no way to get it back to home. The reason that we did this hypothesis was so that we could conclude that in the yellow world, this is not marked. Uh, and we'd know that we need to extend this either way. So we also know that this can't be water. It has to be island. Cool. In this world, we've still got 5 pieces of the island right here. I'm doing just different color over here because I feel like this just can't work. There's just no world in which we can get this island connected back together. Doesn't it feel like we're unconditionally forced to believe in this? Now this could wrap around here, and then we could have a big line of X's. But I don't know, it doesn't work quite like that because if this wraps around, then you get some X's, and then these X's, and that has to stop. And then the island has to begin again. In both yellow and green world, we'd be at an island of 6 right now. In green world, we'd have only these 3 options to continue. In yellow world, we would have, well, this one's cut off, so we'd have these 5 options, I guess, to continue. It seems this is a little odd sort of puzzle, right? Like, this is a depth of investigation that I'm used to doing in my really, really hardcore puzzles. Okay, roll forward complete. And register the backup remote. Hopefully it did take care of that. Um, okay, cool, cool. Okay. If we're happy, let's actually do a little work. Although let's hand off at this point, and the next mayor can continue. All right. But yeah, like I'm not used to in these Nikori puzzles. It's almost never true that we're doing all of these sort of I was going to say depth first searching. Um, Backtracking, I guess, is the big idea. You're not they're not really big on backtracking. And I can enjoy this as a very, very hardcore puzzle fan and enjoying some of the things that that brings with it. But I don't think that this is the intended solution method. It seems a little off, you know? Ah, I do see a inference that we can make right away. What if there was an x here? Well, it needs this. This would get cut off, and then we would definitely have to go this way because we can't have the same number water diagonally across from each other. But then this island got closed off without a number. This actually seems like something that we should know. So that's interesting for sure. And then um, this looks really attractive to explore right here, right? Because we've got both in all worlds, we've got this dot of island hanging out here. Actually, the green world is kind of interesting. Um, in the green world, there's more island up here, and we definitely can't connect these together. And we can't have exactly 3 on this one, but we could have 1, 2, or 4. Just food for thought. Um, but we sort of want to explore the world where this is connected. Let's use maybe this upper left corner isn't being used right now. In this world, this completes the 6 island. And so we'd be doing stuff like this. It doesn't seem that far-fetched yet. We'd have to have this. We have island pieces meeting, or water pieces meeting rather. We so far we're not totally dead in the water. We've got an x length of 3, an x length of 1, and an x length of 2. And in fact, we'd have to draw this in because we couldn't make another island piece. X of 2, this island has to escape, and we have to get all the way to here. And now we've got our island of 9 coming along nicely. It's got 7 of its members. So I mean, it's interesting that this has all worked out so far. It's not totally dispositive that this is how it has to be, but it is interesting. We can't make both of these x's because we would lock in this 9 island. We're still in sort of blue world. So one of these would have to be island. If it were this one, then that would complete the 9 island. We'd start marking in like so. Actually, we can, no, so I don't think that would work. You see here we had 2 x's colliding, and now this one is hemmed in by island, and it needs to continue upward. Remember, this is where we started our hypothesis right here. The reason it has to continue upward is because we'd have 2 x's diagonal from each other in blue world, and it would need to not have the same number in here. And then that would cause, so in blue world, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we would have to, yeah, so I don't think this works. We would have to look like this. See? We have to not be able to increase the size of this island. And that would also block in this corner piece too. Yeah, this blue world like doesn't work. But it was interesting, right? And now we can feel really confident that this is an X. I think it has to be an X in every world. And this is helpful because these two can't be the same. At least one of them has to extend. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay, good. This is the usual symptom. Okay. We have some handoff context. We have a bunch of Dolt advisories. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to make sure that the process is moving forward, which is nice. So we're actually like working back and forth between our sort of solver creator and analyst. Cool. So it's actually puzzling, just like us. In the world where this yellow cuts off this X, which it certainly can do, it would have to extend this to this side. In the world of both of these, we're riding at 7, right? We're riding at 6 island pieces. We should try to do yellow, cross out this one. It's the other way around. Yellow dot here, finishing this island. And then we've got to do stuff that we don't like. This. Right. We can conclude that in yellow, this has to be crossed out. This has to be crossed out in both. It's actually real. If we concluded the island, let's see, this way. If we don't pick one of these two, then we're isolating this island in the corner. So like this has to be water, I think. So if this were the 7th bead regardless of island, they're little dot speeds, then we'd isolate some island right in this corner. But since this is like this, we definitely have to put here and here so that these don't run into each other. And that leaves us at, in yellow world, this is a problem because we're already at our 7. Does a dot work here in yellow world? No, it gets really mired in problems, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. You have to put X's like in all 3 of these. And we concluded, I think, that there would be one here too. So in yellow world doesn't work. It's like the island is done and there's still this gap in the top left corner. I think we're forced to conclude that this is green world. There we go. And now this one can't be 3. It could be 1, 2, or 4. And these 2 sets of water are kind of unconstrained a bit now. And we would like erase all of our yellow marks. And even our green ones if we still had some, because they don't matter anymore. They've sort of ascended into the part of the solution we care about. I think next I would tackle this corner here. Let's see how our okay. Charter codification trio. Cross-department routing, API evolution, and gap discovery, gap audit. Sure, let's work on charter codification. Well, we have some time now. And I mean, that might be in these beads already. All right, let's try. We can try like some blue green again. 6. So we're kind of either doing this one, which is going to cause this and this to happen, and this happens, and this happens. Then we kind of have to, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so we couldn't take, if we joined up these 2 islands, we couldn't take them over to any other island number. So we have to not join them. Pretty sure we're stuck with this, and that would cause this to happen, and this, which I don't think works because we got 3 and 3. So let's back off of that and put the blue right here. To be the 7th for blue, like so. Now, if we join these 2 together into like 6, then we could actually join them up to the 9, just barely. So, like, let's continue our hypothesis here. We think all this is mandatory now at this point. But if we had this at 6, then we'd have to do this at 9. We'd have to do like this. So I don't think this works. We can't make this level of bendy, snaky in our island. So we'd be forced into this. we would have to let this island escape, like so. Here we go. And it wouldn't be obvious immediately whether, so this would be an island of 5 out of 6, and we could extend in one of these 3 ways. Meanwhile, we've got about 9 cells to get out of this area, and we've got about 6 cells to get out of this area. So like I said, it's very tempting to just guess and kind of go this way, and the 6 kind of gets this, and then these X's sort of confine it into this little blob right here. I think there's a temptation to like separate these sorts of problems in our minds. Yeah, and I think I am kind of flashing back to what's the solution on the web page too, because it did look a little odd, and I do think I remember what it says. But what inference would we take from here? Certainly, we'd have to believe that these 3 belong to this 9, because there's no way to attach them up to this one or this one. These guys are sort of subscribed by now. So they definitely belong over here somehow. And so the question is not will they connect to this 9, but just how. Uh, Maybe we would start. So yeah, I think that we believe in all of this. Let's just draw it in. I don't think there was any choice about this stuff. Yeah, these blue marks. I mean, they were helpful momentarily, I guess, for making sure that I felt straight about that. Like, if we had discovered some weird problem or contradiction, then obviously we wouldn't feel great about those marks. I feel like there are certain rules about island shapes that I haven't really been using much, taking advantage of. But, they'd be something like how islands can or can't curl in on each other and that sort of thing. All right, we've got like 3 hypotheses for how to extend our 6 island. I feel like that's the sort of most tractable thing we've got left. Got this one. Nope. Yeah. Causes this to happen. This and this, which would cause this to happen. And this. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because this happened because we had 2 bits of water butting into each other. And this happened because we had 2 bits of water butting into each other. So that doesn't work. We can't end up with this sort of triangle in the corner pattern. That's good. That's some little progress there. And now we're choosing kind of between, since this is abutting a 3, we can't just put a X here and a dot here. Which, I mean, makes sense on other grounds. It's got to be either both or neither. Ah, well, it's got to be both or this is the end of the island. Which is interesting, right? Because if this is the end of the island, then this is going to be water. And if it's not the end of the island, then this is going to be water. This is a thing because we're abutting this water that we know can't extend in this direction. Hmm. Are we missing a rule? We're working so hard. Okay, let's see what it's talking about. Convention, prose, perfect for shared template fragments. Not a shared fragment. Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of it would be nice to have this in here so that we're evolving what we're sharing, especially if we want to publish it. But so I guess I'm not totally convinced. It's true that it is. There's only one city right now, and we're not trying to run 7 cities at once, and there aren't a whole lot of implementers of this pattern. But there aren't going to be if we don't make it into a pack. There's a chicken and egg problem. Uh, hmm. You can press N to add notes. I think that's new. I guess this is like the version of type some chat about this, type something. Yeah. Oh, this is kind of interesting as well, where it's trying to kind of give me these options, and they're changing inside of the UI. All right. Now it doesn't know that we're talking about this, and it won't have any notes about it. Okay. Let's keep experimenting. We've got the world where this is the end of the city. And if it is the end of the city, then this has to happen. This would have to happen. Well, in this case, both of these are twos. Twos. So this can't be a 2. It can be a 1 or a 3. If it is a 3, I think there are problems where, let's look at how it's squeezed the 9 here. If this is a 3, then this can't be island, right? This can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's not enough cells to finish the 9 island without butting into the 6 island somehow. So it would have to be a 1, like so. Now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. These ones have to connect up, and the only way to make them connect up is like this. Okay, then look what that does to the 6 island. It finishes it. And now we're left with this isolated island problem. So neither one of these work. Like we talked about 1 and 3. Obviously, if it's 4, then it's even worse situation. All right. We've got 6 cells here that are going to belong to the 9. Here's the 7th cell. And we're going to have 2 more. Whatever connects these two together, and one more. Or if we're out here like this, then it has to be this one and this one. Lots of weird stuff. Again, we could probably make some rules about island shapes that don't allow us to do jagged edges and that kind of thing. And we probably get some mileage out of those rules right about now. Hmm. Well, we have sort of ideas about sort of tractable connections if you want. There's a pretty big problem if we put in this, which is that no matter where we put our final dot, be it down here or wherever, we're going to have a whole bunch of water at the border of the outside of this island. And it doesn't seem like there's any way to avoid like making an elbow of water. So like say that we put the dot here, then we'd have X's all along this border, right? Which is illegal. We can't have 2x1s of water. Then we would have to maybe we could put a dot right here. This would be ninth. Then we'd have this, this, and we'd have to have this. See, another elbow is formed. So I'm pretty sure that we're forced into this. Yeah. I guess the way to put it is that if you put a dot here, then you've sort of created two elbows, and you can't solve them both at once. Like you can get one out of the three of these cells taken care of with your final move, and yeah, you're gonna have three amino regardless. Okay. So what's interesting about this now is that it's going to take two moves to connect up these 6 with this 9, and we need both of them. Like the 9 has to get closer to these both times. That's why it can't come down here. It's got to go right here. We have an option that it go this way, or that it go this way. Let's try this way. That would cause this to happen. Which makes this 6 island into a 7. That one doesn't work. I guess we're forced to conclude that we go this way. And this is our 9 island, how it looks. Forced to do all this, and this, and this. And then these are forced because the 6 island is complete. Now, pretty sure this is the solution on the web page. Still working hard. Cool. Commit on momentum. Oh, oops. It's too late to expand this diff. But I think what we're assuming is that the fragment took out some of the mayor's prompt, and then it included that prompt. It's interesting that it's putting in notes about who it is. I see. We could toggle this off. All right. We don't need all of this stuff. We have a note to go back to look at sonotype if we ever get into artifacts. We don't need our dashboard. We don't need these tags. This was interesting, of course, but not needed this moment. We were reading this a few sessions ago. Might be good to have this. Well, we're sort of depending on this now. We tried it in Antiquarian. I guess we should follow up and see if the memory system was used in Antiquarian when we asked a question about variance. We were looking at this. We do want these to be open generally, at least one of them. But we do want to check on our issue and see if that got taken care of. Keep open Simon Tatham and keep open our gas city. All right. This one. Has it been that long? Jeez. 11 days. I mean, still. Again, we've got these sort of, we're not delegating out to models. This is something that happened. It's a charter thing, but it also feels sort of like just a business process thing, like a on-call document thing. All right. We were going to see if this is, so we have this island that's sort of pokey up like that. Yep. We've got this island that does the L shape, and this one that does this crazy C shape. Another L shape down here. Yep. It's all here. I think probably the most untapped method that we've got is something about the shapes of the islands that are the final islands that they can't form around each other. Certain holes are not going to work, that kind of thing. All right. Did I like this puzzle? It seemed super complicated, unless I'm missing something really big about it. Like, that was definitely difficult. Nodikabe, we've done on stream before, I'm sure. This is not going to take very long by comparison. They're related puzzles, but the here we've got all the water is in one big group. And here we've got the sort of straight diagonal water. All right. We'll use all the same nomenclature though. Dots are islands. We can't have two numbers in the same island. And this one has a rule about no 2 by 2 sections of water, and that all the water should be connected. And I think we have a rule, we might have a rule about blank islands. This is okay. Nope. Islands, if and only if there's exactly one number. Recalling and writing memories. Why did it say that it was doing that if I can't find it? Ah, okay. It's that time again. Getting late in the Pacific Northwest, but you know, I think I can turn on this lamp for a little bit longer. Hmm. Okay, so we have this. These two islands wouldn't meet each other. We wouldn't have any island here because this 4 has to grow to either this cell or this cell. And well, it can't do this one because that would run into the 6 island. Now this 2 has to go to here or here. The 6 is kind of getting forced out this way. So it can't avoid, like if we close this off right here, then there'd only be 3 cells for the 6 island to work with. So it has to keep going out this way. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like so. I didn't notice this 1 before. 2. This 5 can only go up to here. Then it has to go this way or it would run into this 3. Similarly, it can't run into this. This 3 has to go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. These ones are kind of locking horns with one another a little bit. And there we go on the 4. Yeah. So I think we're getting into the water can't be cut off kind of rules. Like this water can't be surrounded by islands. This water can't be surrounded by islands. This water can't be surrounded by islands. We gotta get past the 2 by 2 rule here. So we can have both of these be water. Um, if this one is, well, we know that this island, we've got sort of 5 cells accounted for. This one, these 3, and however they connect to each other. So we definitely can't get to this one. Because we'd need an island of at least 7 to get right here. So this is part of the island for the 2 by 2 rule. And then if we had island here, that would isolate this water. And there we go. See, we're barely making any inferences at all. Certainly no like backtracking hypotheses to finish this one. But these are fun. It's a good style, and I think this is sort of like the basic rule set that I'd be most familiar with. Maybe the most popular. All right, 18 minutes. Yep, it's a trivial lift to make a civic pack. Yeah. Yep, no template syntax in Mayor's prompt. Yeah, it needs to have to be named this way so that the template engine runs on it and it can pick up fragments. Um, okay, cool. All right, so they're doing their thing. Remind me about the BC Oracle process improvement. I think at some point we queried antiquarian to test for the use of the CM memory system. Did it ever finish that query about variants? Should we, if so, maybe we can talk more about the memory system. See, I'm definitely the weak link in this no problem. Nudie maze. Blacken some of the regions, either black or white. SG circle or diamond must not be blackened. I think that we saw these ones when we were preparing for WPF, the puzzle competition. It's let's see. I'm just flipping through them right now really fast. Hmm. It's sort of like a maze drawing kind of thing. Or maybe we just ran across it in some other. We might have done it on Nicody website. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the World Puzzle Foundation puzzle. Some of which were super hard, I would say. Okay, there we go. All right, but we could try to do this one again. Let's see. You have to go from start to goal. It's a maze. You have to take all the circles and none of the triangles. The white cells form a network of paths. The path is one cell wide and doesn't form a loop. So these red cells in the solution, these are all white cells. But it's like that's the solution to the maze. Yeah. And I don't have the ability to memorize all that. All right. So, we definitely have to go through here, through the circle. And we know that the path can't be more than one wide. Let's read some more rules. Neither the black nor the white cells may do a 2 by 2 area. All white cells must form a single orthogonally connected area. So we can't isolate them. And the circle are white. Okay. Oh yeah. Add an upstream issue check step to GC how to so that workflows check for gas city issues. I would say where appropriate, when we're like, we probably have a we need to if we think we're going to report a bug upstream, we should always check it first. Okay, the variance query. There's nothing in the playbook. I think the GC Oracle improvement is good. It might be a little. We want to talk about scope, right? It might be better to scope to a particular kind of issue before we believe that we need to report a bug upstream. We need to ask if it's already been reported or is similar to other issues. That might be included in regular Oracle questions. Or it might be scoped only to those where we want to know if our issue is novel. I seem to recall talking about the possibility that antiquarian was not wired. But I thought we retried after fixing that wiring. Let's treat this as a mystery to be solved. Okay, 2-hour hydration break warning. Okay, if we know that this has to be white, we have to go through this circle. That means that this region has to be colored white. I don't really like this nomenclature. Let's use X's and dots again. And we can't have 2x2 areas of black or white. And we color whole regions at the same time. There's a path that it doesn't have any. Let's see, the goal, the path from S to G takes all the circle squares. Okay, this is fine. Now it's doing 2 different threads, which is kind of interesting. I don't think I've seen this in the CLI before. But again, we're not trying to get vendor locked in after avoiding for so long. So I think that implies that we've got to get out of this dead end because we've got a path from start to goal, a double-ended path. And I colored this in to get out of this area, and we got to color a region at a time. If we colored this white, we'd have a 2x2 area. We're not supposed to go through any triangles. I think that means that they can't be white, but I don't totally know. The white has to be orthogonally connected, but it doesn't necessarily like lead to the goal. Among the white tree, if you want, there has to be a path from start to goal. I'm noticing something on the board that it seems obvious, but if there were any 2x2 regions, then we'd have to color them either all white or all black, and that's illegal. Just because we don't go through a triangle doesn't mean we can't color its region white and go through the other cell that's in the region. We could conclude that the path doesn't go into this dead end, but I don't think we can conclude that that means that this path is black. This region is black. Goal region has to be white. I'm looking for other places where there might be some 2x2-ness going on. Certainly we can't color both of these black. One of them has to be white. If we colored this one white, then that would be a 2x2. If we colored this one black, that would be 2x2. If we colored this white, that would be 2x2. We have to orthogonally connect all of the white. This white has to escape because this circle is definitely on the path to victory. Ah, this has to be white because if we colored it black, that would be 2x2. Okay. GC Oracle scoping. Recommend option B. The clean analogy is GC Oracle gains a novelty mode the way Antiquarian has one for puzzles. If the question is bug shaped, novel, known, or fixed. It only graduated till we should report this mid-investigation. The framework doesn't decide novelty mode, the Oracle decides. meaning that it has to be in the prompt or it's a behavior or something like that. But a charter, we do bullet. Cool. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I think that's good. Good. Yes, that's good. Okay, CM mystery. All the wiring's in place. The formula has CM hooks. The pack was imported in vVars. There was no temp CM recall. Skip if nothing is worth recalling. Okay. The CM hooks are too easy to skip. There's no guardrail asking, are you sure you have nothing to add? Concur on GC Oracle approach. Yeah. It's just that it's not remembering things that we want it to remember. Maybe we can talk a little more about economic advantage or marginal cost. My hypothesis, roughly, is that looking for a memory is just going to be cheaper than reconstructing worlds with cognition at the cost of tokens. If there's So the things I expect to become memories are things that are, one, likely to be reused, two, more deterministic than cognition, or three, aids to cognition, shortcuts. That encode best practices or lessons learned. In my view, for a repeatable process. or required cognition, it's probably worth caching at some level. Since we're trying to replace notes with the CM system in this palette, we both want to know if the system would work in theory and if it would be economical in practice. Maybe let's criticize this framing a little. Maybe trying to use the wrong add boxes. ICM context, at least would be helpful to use in deterministic three-step. And decides to you could want it to look for context for related issues. Let's talk about the right place to inject this into the decision-making process. Well, I can feel myself flagging. We're turning into a pumpkin here, so I'm gonna hit enter. Then we will catch where it's gotten to hopefully tomorrow. Tomorrow, a more normal day. I'm expecting to be back on. So hopefully we've returned to fun. We've returned to our meta-ness. We've got our puzzle stuff in flight still. And hopefully it'll go good. Alrighty. Well, I'll catch you next time.